373 project. Like the others, and next week's going to be another, you infect the machine with some malware, and then you analyze the malware. This infection works pretty well. Remember, this I did because if you take the malware analysis class, I think that's the one, yeah, I found out that there's this program, BG Info 64, which is a Microsoft program, has a security flaw. It loads a library from an untrusted source. And you can put a malicious library there, and that's what I did. So all you have to do is run this program as administrator, and it infects your machine. And it works just fine. I'm not going to do it again. I already did it to this machine. Download this thing, unzip it, run this file, blam, now your machine's infected. This is better malware than last week's malware. And so then you can analyze the incident. And unlike last week's malware, your infected Windows machine is not going to have any pop-ups or anything. But it is a botnet being controlled remotely. Well, it's sending remote network traffic. It's not really being controlled, but it is contacting a remote server. So to analyze it, now we want to analyze the network traffic. So you can, I thought this is cute. Microsoft does have a network monitoring system built into the operating system, and you can just use it with Velociraptor. So I have my Velociraptor server running here, of course. I'll just show the starting of it. Let me stop it. Yeah, I have this is my Linux machine, and all I do is run the Velociraptor executable with the config with front end minus V, which is what we've done in IR371. That starts the server, and I already have the Windows client already has an agent running on it that we put on there before. So if I go home in the GUI, I wonder if TLS handshake error. All right, let's see. Okay, there we are. Network error. That's interesting. Okay. Refresh. Okay. Yeah, I think it's decided to worry about privacy, just like yours. It's warning me the HTTPS connection is no good, and I have to reassure it that I'm accepting that risk. Okay, now I'm into my server, and you see there is one connected client. So if I go here and show all, there's my Windows client, Windows 11. And if I click that, I'm in here, and if I click collected, I can now collect information from the client. So let's do that. The first thing I'd like to do is collect network traffic from the client. So I can just put packet and Windows Network Packet Capture. This is pretty awesome. You can remotely collect PCAPs from any of your machines. So the way it works is you launch this once. You have to use the same thing twice. The first time you launch it, it's going to start collecting. And the next time, it's going to stop collecting and upload the file. So it's running. If I go to the log, it'll show me what it's doing. This is, not sure what that funny thing means. Scheduled, okay. That's disturbing. Hopefully it will run. If not, perhaps I have some kind of weird connection problem or something. Let's see if I got a good internet connection here. It might be. I want it fast.com. Although that page suggests what? There. Okay, the network connection is okay. So, things should work. But this is a little disconcerting, making me think I don't really have a good connection to that machine. All right. Let's see if I can do something simple like netstat. I'm not sure I can do anything because I think it's going to wait for the first one to finish before it does the second one. Yeah, it looks like, okay, let me just restart that machine and restart the server. It looks like something has failed its connection here. I'm going to just restart this Windows machine. Oh, wait, something came through. Oh, that's good. Netstat ran. Oh, good, it all ran. I just had to have more patience. Okay, fair enough. I don't know why it was slow, but whenever you're using Windows, many things are mysteriously slow. So this thing ran, and if you go to results, it shows you the file. This is the Microsoft PCAP called an ETL, net trace, and you need that. That is the file that is currently being captured. Now, I wanted to wait for a minute, so let's wait till 11:16. That'll be at least a minute. The malware I put on there will send data every 30 seconds. So if you wait a minute, you should definitely catch some of the malicious traffic. So I guess I'll wait till 16:15. Then I know it's been a minute. And then I'm going to stop it. And to stop it, I might as well get ready. You just run the same collector again. And you put in configure parameters. And here you tell it not to start and to refer to this file. And it will stop collecting into that file. So it's been a minute, and now it's been a minute. So I run this one, and I'll get about 1 minute of data into that file. And one thing that happened to me when I did this earlier is this took a really long time, like 2 or 3 minutes. And I wondered what the problem is, and it was getting like 270 megabytes of PCAPs. And that's what caught my attention. Even though my Windows machine is doing nothing, it was running some kind of big updates in the background. Windows Update or Firefox Update or something was creating a whole bunch of junk traffic. And that might be happening again. I saw a thing down here that said waiting for rows. Every 30 seconds there's another message. And it did that. Yep, here we go. Waiting for rows. And last time it spent like 2 minutes waiting for more rows until I thought something was wrong. But if you just wait forever, it comes. And I thought there's no reason to take forever because there should be nothing going on except my malware that just sends like one request every 30 seconds. So it should not be a big file. But it is. And it looks like even though this Windows machine has been up for an hour, it still hasn't knocked off updating, which is the kind of thing Windows does. Very annoying. Even when it isn't apparently doing anything, it's doing a whole lot of stuff and largely not really very beneficial. Yep, here we go. Finally, only 60 seconds this time. So the file is here. There's the file, the PCAP-NG. And it is smaller. It's only 112K. That looks much better. So I download that file. Now, in a nice, happy world, this would be a PCAP-NG, and you could analyze it in Wireshark. But Microsoft always has to hurt you. So when you run this, it doesn't work. The PCAP conversion failed. And there's 2 ways to fix it, which I put in the project. Once you do it, I've never seen it work, which is damn annoying. It never works. The PCAP is always malformed. But this is such a common thing that there are free online sources to fix broken PCAPs. So apparently this is a common thing. And maybe we can use this cloud service. Last time I couldn't because the file was too big. Let's see how big the file is this time. Downloads, now it's only 113K. Last time it was 200 megs. Okay, so my Microsoft updates finally stopped. And now I have a file that's less than 1 meg, so I can probably use this free cloud service. Yeah, my 112K. And is it done? Repair, there we go. Yes, and there it goes running, repairing the file. And you get your repaired PCAP here. There we go. Okay, so this is the repaired PCAP. I'll just put it in downloads. All right. And, okay, and that one should open. There we are. That's handy. If you do have a 200 meg file like I did, then you can't use that online thing, so you have to download this utility and run it on there. Microsoft does give you a utility to fix the ETL file. I don't know why they don't actually fix the internal services that created it in the first place, but anyway, there is a repair tool. But this online repair tool worked, so here's the Wireshark. And now if you look at the project, let's get back to here. What you're trying to find is a get. And you find the get that goes to samsclass.info. That's what I used for my malware. So here's the get. And like I say, since there's not a whole bunch of junk going on in the background anymore, it's the only get. So that's more like it. So you can just look at this request, and you'll find here the request going to the server. And anyway, there's a flag you can find there. Once you find this, this is what it does. It gets this thing called report.php. But this is just a fake URL I made up. That it does this fetch every 30 seconds, so it simulates a bot that's phoning home. All right, so that one will work. You'll find the flag in that get. Now the next thing is the DNS cache. This is actually very handy. Every time you do a DNS resolution on a Windows machine, it remembers what it found for like 2 minutes. So if you go there again, it doesn't have to do another lookup. And this happens every 30 seconds, so it should always be in the cache. So you can just collect the DNS cache with Velociraptor. This shows what domains has this machine been going to recently. Now, one thing that's weird about this is very often it's completely empty on Windows machines. And I don't understand why, but I found a workaround. Now here, you see I get the results. And one of these results is going to be resolving my name, my place, although I don't see it here, which is somewhat disturbing. Might have to try it again. But the first time I did it, it was completely empty, which happens a lot. And I found a workaround, which I don't understand. You change the DNS server to this, and then it will work. Somehow, if it's going to the default, your router, it somehow doesn't show up properly in the DNS cache. And that's one of those bugs, but that's life. Now here, I ran it, but Sam's class is not in there, which is strange because it should be going there every 30 seconds. Let's just try it again. DNS is always very strange. That's why, Amazon went down last week. It's always DNS. DNS is a mess. It has a lot of weird problems. And it's like I'm still not finding it, which is pretty weird because it's absolutely going to that domain every 30 seconds. And it really should be in the cache. It might be that you have to do something like restart the server or something to get it to refresh the cache. Let's try one more, and then I'm going to try. There you can also manually flush the DNS cache, and that might be something you have to do to make this work. That's why it's good to do these live demos, because students will hit these problems. All right, there it is again, DNS cache, that one and this one, and it's really not there. Okay, so let's try clearing the cache, which is, I think, ipconfig/clear DNS, something like that. Let's see, clear Windows, flush DNS, I think. Windows clear DNS cache, ipconfig/flush DNS. All right. By the way, I can probably do that from Velociraptor. Let's try that. I think it's here. There's a way to connected. Now, there's some way to do shell commands. May not be able to find it. It was in one of the projects. Let me try that. I'll try to do it for Velociraptor. That would be interesting. It's in one of the early projects. I think it's in this one at the end. Yeah. Okay. Click the eye icon. There. In Velociraptor GUI, show all, client ID, there's a shell button. Okay, where's the shell button? At the top right, there's supposed to be a shell button. What is this thing? That is not the shell. Yak. All right. That might have been it. All right, let me try. No, that's all right. Let's see. Maybe they took it away. All right, what's going on here?
There's an eye icon along the left panel.
Okay, let's wait. What is going on here? Wait. All right, something bizarre is going on. Can I refresh this page? Okay. It's going to let me do it? No, it's going to. All right. Let's close Opera entirely. Okay. Now let's try again. Let's go here. Let's stop this entirely and then start it again. And it's going to tell me where the GUI is. Okay, I want to go to this URL. Let's get Opera going. All right. Somehow I confused it. This is the problem with these web-based control panels. They tend to get confused. Okay, now. All right. Now you search clients, show all. You go to your Windows client. Oh, here it is, shell. Oh, because it's not in the collected window, it's here. Okay, so there's the shell. So now I should be able to do ipconfig /flush DNS and launch that. And the eye will show me what the results are. And it says logs. Okay, let's see if that fixed the problem. DNS cache. Launch. And there it is. Well, that did seem to do it. Okay, so that seems to be the cure. So I'll add that to the project instructions. There's always a bunch of workarounds. Anyway, all right. So that's how you see the cache. Let's get rid of this one and get to the current project, which is this one. That's how you see the cache. All right. So now we're going to try and find the EX executable by using Windows Search Yara. And we're going to use exe. And all I'm going to do is see, because I saw in the DNS cache, it's going to securityreports.samslash.info. So now this domain name must be in the malware. And so I'm going to look for this security report string and see what files have that. That's the idea. I want all the executables that contain the word security report. So let's try that. Windows Search Yara. Yara. Okay. Windows Search Yara. Configure parameters. I could search all these file types, but all I'm going to do is search EXEs. And then I can search for security reports. And it's going to look for that in any encoding anywhere. So any file that contains that word will be found. And we've done this before. It's really pretty fast. It takes like a minute or two to search through every file on a Windows box, which is pretty impressive because it's using this raw disk access. That's what this ///dot/ is. It's not going through the drive letter. It's accessing the device directly, which is a lot faster apparently. So it's able to directly scan these files, and you see it won't take too long to scan all the EXEs on the box. So,
does it get the exact match?
Yes,
Look,
That's what-
exact match.
that's what Yara is doing. He looks for exact
If
match.
The malware composes the
Yes,
string,
yes,
character by character.
yes. That's right. Smarter malware will not be found this way. It could also just XOR, encrypt it, or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the malware is hiding the string in any way, this won't work. Yara is a really cursory inspection tool. I don't know why people love it so much. All it does is plain text word matching, but people love it. Like you saw, there's like a dozen collectors of Yara. They love this thing. I don't know why. Anyway, it's the same thing as grep as far as I can tell. Anyway, it should find the file responsible for the beacons, which there should be only one file. And looks like it's done. Here's the results. Yep, there's only one file. And there it is, cuser student download securitytest.exe. That's the file. And there's a flag someplace on this page. Or so I thought. File size, mod time. Hit context, file size. There's mod time. Good. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, so there's a flag to be found there, which looks like it's going to work. So now we can use Sysmon. Now, Sysmon is another Microsoft tool that creates log entries that are much easier to interpret. We used it back with Splunk. And so you can install Sysmon on there, which is pretty awesome. But of course, since I'm using Windows on ARM, the default Sysmon doesn't work, and we're going to have to do this. We need to manually install Sysmon. So we can use the shell and select a shell type of PowerShell and just execute these commands. These commands will manually install Sysmon. So let's go to here, show all, here, there's the shell. And so in PowerShell, I can execute this command, which will just make a directory for Sysmon to live in. And this is going to, this is the wget. This is the equivalent of a wget on a Windows machine. Invoke web request. This will just download a file in the command line. So it will download Sysmon64A, which is the ARM version, and store it with the name Sysmon. And you can see the result here, all right. And there's the logs and such. Okay, so I'm going to go back there, which is show all, Windows, machine, shell. Okay, so that downloads the file. This is going to download, this is going to download the configuration. There's a famous security person called Swift on Security on Twitter, who's a huge Taylor Swift fan, why that person has that name. And he wrote a really valuable configuration file, which is the recommended configuration to use to monitor Windows operating system. And that's what we're going to use. This downloads his file called export.xml, which is the configuration for Sysmon. So when that's done, then I execute this to launch Sysmon. And so I need a CMD shell for this. And then get rid of the old stuff. This is what launches Sysmon with that config file and accepts the user license agreement, so it won't pause. So that should do it. Now Sysmon should be installed and running on my Windows machine, which is an additional logging utility that makes it much easier to understand what's happening on your machine because it makes very handy logins. And here I should be able to see the answer to that with the I. And good, that shows it. Sysmon validated, Sysmon installed. Okay, everything worked. The downloads worked and the launch worked, or I would have seen some kind of error message here. So good, my Sysmon is now on the machine. So now I just launch EVTX Hunter to download the logs. So that is show all, Windows, collected, plus, now I can do EVTX, which is Microsoft Event Logs database. And so I want EVTX Hunter, and I'm going to do Sysmon security test. Okay, so I go to configure parameters, and okay, the IOC, indicators of compromise regex, is going to be the word I know is going to be in it. So this is the name of the DNS, things that mention that, and the channel regex is syslog. So I'm only going to, Sysmon, whoops, because I only want the Sysmon events. Microsoft Windows events are incredibly chatty. You'll see hundreds of events for the simplest thing. It'll drive you nuts. The whole point of Sysmon is you don't see that. You see like one event, like launch the process, one event, wrote a file, something easy to understand. I only want the Sysmon events. And ID regex is one, I don't remember what that's about. But anyway, hey, syslog ID number 1. ID number 1 is process created. So I'm only going to see process creation Sysmon events. And then I think just launch it. Okay, let's see what happens. It's downloading the whole Windows event log and then filtering it to only show me these particular events. Okay, it's found 0 rows, but it's still running. Okay, it's done. Okay, and 2 rows. Good. So it had results, and here we are. Event ID 1. Here is some process being launched. And there's the process GUID. Here it is. That's the one, securitytest.exe from the downloads folder. That's the malicious activity being launched. So that's what's really nice about Sysmon. One nice log entry, and it even gives me stuff like MD5 hashes and all sorts of useful things about this event without wasting my time with 100 baffling Microsoft internals events. That's the point. And so there should be a flag there where you can find things. And use the show hide column and clear the event data, message, and OS path fields. Okay, let's see if I can do that. The show hide columns is outlined in red. Okay, this thing, and remove some of the columns. Event data, message, and OS path. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. Okay. And it was clear event data, message, message, and OS path, just to make it fit on the screen better, because those were big things. And then now you can see the times of these events. All this junk is no longer in the way. Yeah, now you can see the times. And you can see that it launched at 1832.01 and 1833.01. And if I did it again, it'd be more. Since I installed syslog, it's only been a minute. But you'll see it's exactly at the start of every minute. And that is, if it was the run key, it would just run once at every boot up. So this is a different persistence mechanism. And what that suggests is that it's using Task Scheduler. It appears to be right on the clock of every minute. So that's a scheduled task. In Linux, they call it cron jobs. In Microsoft, they call it scheduled tasks. So, all right. And so the flag is in the parent command line, which is fine. And so now that suggests we better look at what the scheduled tasks are. So there's a Velociraptor collector for that too, Task Scheduler. So let's take a look at what's in the Task Scheduler. That'll probably do. Windows System Task Scheduler. And I think we don't need to, no change to the parameters. We'll just see all the scheduled tasks. And there they are. Okay. Here's the log. It's done. Okay. And let's see what the results are. I'm afraid there might be too many of them. 244 rows. That's kind of what I thought. Microsoft is always doing a lot. 244 scheduled tasks. So you'll want to find this one that launches, of course, the security test one. So I wonder how you're going to find that here. Seems to me like it might be better to filter something because there's 288 of them. When I did it here, somehow I found the security test one, but I'm thinking my instructions are a little harsher than they should be. Let's see if there's a way to filter it. If I run scheduled tasks, Windows System Task Scheduler, let's see if the parameters have a way to limit what you're going to pick up. Oh, tasks path. And what is this column, I wonder? The third column, let's get out of here and see. The third column is command. All right. So I think I could put security test in command, and that would filter it. Let's see if that's better. Okay.
Do a word search, you mean?
Well, I could search through the result, but hopefully I can just limit it to only collect that one. That's what I'm hoping. That would be friendlier. However, I do have tasks path. Now, is task path what I want? Task name, command. Is there something called tasks? Maybe this is tasks path. It's not entirely clear to me. Let's try it and see. Okay, so if I run scheduled tasks, and then I configure the parameters, and I put, oh, I see, there, those are tasks, username. I see, these, that's why I didn't filter. These are no good. Yeah, they don't give you any useful filters. Okay, so you're going to have to hunt through this mess to find it, and there's probably many pages of this. Yep, 0 to 10 out of 244. So that's annoying. I wonder if there is I don't think there is any search here. You could download it. Yep, but you're going to have to find it here, which is unfriendly. All right, anyway, I'll put at least some text there saying. So what I would do to actually find it, I'd download it and open it in a spreadsheet. Do you have a better idea?
Isn't this icon the binoculars?
Oh, maybe. Inspect raw JSON. Yeah, it would be nice, yeah. No, the way I know to do it would be to download CSV and then open this in a spreadsheet, and then you can search pretty easily. Yep, and now I can zoom in here, and now I can search for the string I know, which is security tests. Just security will probably do. There. That is probably, yeah, that's it right there. So that's a way to do it. Download it and search. I'll put some extra text in there saying that. That's a little bit tough, but that's all you can do. This particular artifact does not give us a filtering option that helps. All right, and then you can do hunts. Hunts are what you do to, once you find indicators of compromise, a hunt is how you can search your whole network for a whole bunch of things. So hunts are the 3-bar icon and Hunt Manager. Let's take a look at them. 3-bar icon, Hunt Manager. Okay, now what you can do is specify multiple things for the hunt to do. So I add a hunt and give it a name. Okay, and that's the description. Yep. All right. And then select artifacts. Okay. And now I can do a variety of things like sysmon install. We're not going to do that because we're on ARM. We installed it manually. Then I'm going to do EVTX Hunter. Okay. And then Task Scheduler. Notice how this is a different color. It's going to remember that. Task Scheduler. Okay. And then DNS Cache. There. Highlight them, and at the bottom left, click Configure Parameters. And now you see all these artifacts are there. All part of the hunt. C4 artifacts, and so the security test for EVTX Hunter in the IOC. Okay. Okay. And in Task Scheduler, oh dear. Uh-oh. I wonder if I lost everything. Hunt Manager. Looks like I somehow lost everything. Okay. Plus, okay, detect, security, test, beaconer. This is the problem with free software. They always make it a little difficult. So I'm going to have, it was EVTX Hunter, and then Task Scheduler, and then DNS Cache. Okay, now configure parameters. Okay, EVTX Hunter. I wanted IOC security test. I see how to, that's what I did wrong. I shouldn't have closed this. The next one is just below there. Okay, so here was security test. I can get this thing to clean up. Okay, and task scheduler. I wanted this path. Now that I know from before, I know what it is. Tasks path, right. This is the particular task I want. Now that I know what it is, I don't need to look at the others. And no changes in this one. All right. And then launch. Okay. There. And this is now detect security test beaconer. Click the name. And it's not running. It's paused. I click this. And click the center, and in the top left, there's the run button. It's up here. Okay, that will run the hunt. And now it's going to run, and I think it's going to run on every machine. There's only one machine in my network. I can just run it. Run them all. Okay. And this is what you do, to really, after you've analyzed machines, and now you start this and scan all your thousands of machines and let it go, and that's how you get the next information about how far this thing is spread through all this. So it'll do all that stuff, and there's a flag of some sort defined here. Looking at the task scheduler analysis, let's see. So the hunt is running. So here's the results. Finished clients. Well, here's the requests. Yeah, this is the actual language called VQL, Velociraptor Query Language. All these things are written in. There's the clients. There's only one. Okay, and here's the results in the notebook. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. Notebook is where you see the results of it. And so in the results, you should find task scheduler analysis, and there it is. And there's a flag. It's probably just going to be a column header. Yep, there, good. All right. So there's a flag defined there, and that's the story. This is what your report is going to be, all the machines that had various hits. All right, that's the game. And now remediation. Again, you have to execute these in an administrator command prompt on the Windows machine. And I guess I'll just do that so it's cleaned up for next time. If I open an administrator command prompt here, looks like I already have one open. All right. And here's the instructions on this machine, so I'll just get the commands from here. So this is what deletes the scheduled task. Let's see. Let me try it on a Windows machine. Okay. This is Control-C should copy from Firefox. And let's see. Oh, it's doing the zoom in, that's why. Control-V should run it. All right, good. And I've turned on somehow Microsoft Zoom In, which is very clumsy, but it's working, so I guess I'll leave it that way. The Microsoft magnifier, as you see, is a little crazy. But Control-V. Okay. And remove directory. And it won't let me get there to change this because it's horrible. Now, there's some way to get out of Microsoft Magnifier. Maybe Shift-Control plus again, Shift-Control minus, Shift-Command plus, Shift-Command minus, Command minus, Command minus. There we are. I finally got out of this is Microsoft Magnifier. All of Microsoft stuff is incredibly clumsy and hard to use. All right, there. So for some reason, it did not delete the file. Remove directory. Oh, it probably doesn't know what user profile is in this thing. If it was really a CMD window, it probably would. I do still have CMD. All right, good. The new terminal is different because Microsoft is that way. There, let's see what this does. That works, okay. Yep, anyway, so that should have got the malware off, and that's it for that project. That's what I wanted to show you. Let me check for comments in the Twitch, but yeah, there aren't any. That's what I thought. I think I got no viewers in the Twitch. So let me just stop this recording.